Hi guys, yeah. Today obviously I said about I don't know obviously what was going to happen on it because of delay and stuff, and I managed to get back here obviously at this time because yeah, it seems in the end when Stoke on Trent there was not hardly any eating places, so I've not eaten even at all day so far. The only reason being is because I've literally just typical gone and spent a load of money as well up that way and stuff as well. I've literally brought again today three more Funkos. Oops, and literally a load of LPs and a CD and whatnot. I'll go through them in a minute, obviously, as well. Um, but yeah, sadly, obviously, I've just been like caught up with so much today and stuff when I've gone that way because I've had to practically walk all the way from the city centre itself right back to the station. I don't know obviously what it was like with buses. I did get a bus on the way when I got there and whatnot, but I thought myself, I don't really know buses because I've never been here before. This is the first time, so instead, in the end, I just walked here and whatnot. The other reasons well being because it was better exercise to try and have a little look at what Stoke-on-Trent's like because I've never seen it before. Um, First CD obviously in this one, which I'm going to show you, is by Hugh Cornwall, and this is Monster, and I literally haven't even got this as a CD form. I don't think I might have it, but I'm not sure where it's gone. But yeah, this version is not that case anyway because this has literally got Monster on it, and it's also got another thing called Restoration, which is obviously all the Stranglers songs, but they're obviously acoustic ones. This is obviously the double CD, so I've literally haven't got this one at all. I know that for a fact because I never ever brought the two double CD one. I think it was only like a singular CD when it first came out. But like I say, I don't know where on earth it. Sorry, I don't lose little bits tearing off it. I don't know whereabouts it literally has gone. So I don't know what's happened to it or even if I even brought it whatsoever at all. But yeah, this one obviously is album on it, Monsters and stuff, which has got all the tracks on the back there and everything. And then the inside, as you can see, is that it says there Hugh Cornwall's Monster, and then obviously inside is like the hand thing. And then you've got the two CDs. I believe that is on that side, that on that side, and then you've got the booklet inside this bit in that part there, which is obviously there. And I'm not going to go through obviously every ins and outs of this details of the album anyway because I've got records more which would be more interesting to show and stuff a bit. But yeah, obviously I'll call out the songs what it's on this one. So Monster is obviously Pure Evil, Le Grande Dame, I think that was called, The Most Beautiful Girl in Hollywood, Mossen, Mr. Lever, Bico, Bilko, that was it, not Bico. Robert, Monster, Attack of the Major, Sevens, and then Dookie Cooch. I can't say some of these great, man. But yeah, that's obviously the first part. And then Restoration one was obviously, like I say, the more Stranglers acoustic sort of tracks, which was, of course, Outside Tokyo, Let Me Down Easy, Souls, Don't Bring Harry, Goodbye Toulouse, Skips the Pass of the Night, Never Say Goodbye, No More Heroes, Big America, and Always the Sun, which is a good, obviously, track in it. But yeah, I see this and I definitely want to go for it because I have also been after like the vinyl copy and stuff as well. I didn't even think they definitely didn't have it in there. But where obviously I brought this was I think they were called Urban's Records, Urban's Records, and it's literally like in an arcade place. So you can obviously go down and stuff, and then you can go through like a little thing like that. And yeah, it's literally on. If I remember the directions, because I just literally just came from there. It was literally if you're coming from down this way up and stuff, and you'll see it eventually. You literally go through this archway, and it was on the left hand side. But if you come from a different direction round, it'll obviously be on the right hand side. If you know what I mean. And yeah, that's obviously quite. It's not a massive record store, but it's quite a big record store ish, and they do a lot of CDs more as well, which are really ideal for. Because I did, funny enough, see an Ozzy Osbourne one as well, which was Ordinary Man. That was it, and I've not really seen that one much on CD, so I was going to get that one, but I thought I don't really think so because I might end up seeing something else in a minute and that, and then yeah, I might end up spending more money. Also, they had some Stranglers ones there. One of them already got. There was another one which I liked, which was of course Decades Apart. That was only a five, which wasn't too bad. I don't have that one. My dad had that one. And then there was like other ones like Paul Weller's ones as well and stuff, but there weren't obviously a lot of Paul Weller ones of like rarities and stuff. It was more obviously his albums, except from Sans Planosaur there. They obviously had the normal tracks on that, and then the DVD version and stuff, which was different compared to the normal standard version I got from Manchester. That was right in Thorpe's and whatnot. But yeah, cross that out and stuff because the CDs subjects and stuff, and then more the interesting subjects now, the vinyls. Yeah, I obviously visited Rubber Souls Boys is definitely should be called, and Rubber Souls obviously was recommended to, like, by most people because there was the guy that I spoke to in obviously that one I said about Urban One, and he said, yeah, you definitely need to visit that one because it's like Aladdin's cave and everything. And yeah, the guy in there I spoke to was really, really friendly. He was a really nice guy. And he literally, he even went through all his records to try and hunt down some records that I was trying to look for or stuff. And he was so polite and everything. And I don't know how long he must have took. He must have nearly taken like nearly 40 minutes, an hour just to do that. And it was so lovely of him. But yeah, obviously I asked him myself, the sort of records I've been after lately as well and whatnot. And I told him, and yeah, it was very interesting to have a conversation properly with the guy, which was really nice. But yeah, the first album that of course, I got was, again, Style Council one, which is Introducing, which is the first record. People are really going to think, why has he got that one when you mentioned you got the colour version reissue? Obviously, the first press ones I don't have whatsoever, which is true. I've never ever brought the first press ones. So, myself, obviously, because these have all been opened and stuff and seen, I'd probably say better days in it, unfortunately, because some of the little marks it's got on here and that. I've paid literally £9 for it as well, which isn't too bad. Probably compared to like maybe I'd say the Koji's, it's probably reasonable because the guy in there he says he does not keep his prices up high whatsoever because he's trying to make a business. He never sells online either because if he did that then he wouldn't get anywhere really either. He wouldn't make decent money either. But yeah, he literally was so polite and everything over it, and that's what I'm saying, this album is obviously one I've not really seen around much nowadays either anyway, so it was quite ideal to get this one. Obviously I do have the Japanese one, a Cafe Blur one, and then I had the new reissue special version, and then I've got which I haven't picked up yet, but that'll be obviously coming up when, Tuesday I'd probably say, because I'm quite busy again for the next 4 days, I'd probably say roughly. That coloured reissue blue Cafe Blurred one, which I obviously can add in, with my review on all them, but I would probably say, I might include it, I might not, because I did do a Cafe Blurred and I special, review, sorry, sort of one. So that's that one, obviously, of course, the Introductions album. Yeah, that's it. Next one, obviously, of course, which I've not again hardly seen, and he charged me £9 for this one, is of course this one, which is the Star Council Come to Milton Keynes. And now, obviously, I know myself is one of my favourite songs on that album. It's obviously, of course, got the album's name itself, Our Favourite Shop, Club Mix on it. And it's got, When You Call Me, The Lodgers... When You Call Me, that's it. And then the next one is The Lodgers Club Mix. I've never seen this one again before. I don't really literally, like in the past when I've gone hunting for records and stuff, when I've visited more London and places like that, never seen, in my opinion, like... all the bigger versions of the Style Council ones. I've more came across like all the small singles and stuff, which is true. I've got most of their small single ones, but I haven't got any of mostly these bigger ones. Because he had a load of other, obviously, of course, Style Council ones, and they said to me, "Have you got this one and that and stuff?" And one of them was obviously, of course, one of the albums. I didn't buy it because I was concerned of how much I was going to spend, which is true because I spend so much money lately on records. It's been unbelievable. So I was just taking it easy on spending records wise and whatnot. But it's a really interesting one, as well. This album, like I mentioned, is from Our Favourite Shop, which is quite a cool one. Sorry if I'm not getting all the records out and showing them as well and stuff. Didn't go through, which I just remembered, didn't go through the tracks on Introduce one. Just missed that out, so apologies again to that. But I'll do that more, obviously, with the reissue ones when I, do that interview next and stuff. The next one, of course, is, which I've just mentioned, and that is, of course, Our Favourite Shop. It's obviously on the front there got this, which is not part of it, stuck to it, so don't worry. It's literally a little picture which came included, which is really cool and stuff. But yeah, I've never ever seen that inside with a record before, because I think in the past I have seen, Our Favourite Shop's record, but I've never ever, seen one with a little picture thing inside it, which is quite cool with it. Again, this has seen better days because, the state of stuff, it's obviously because he has so much records in there and that, and probably the amount of, stuff that he's brought as well and whatnot and sells and everything. It's, some of ours I met, like, again, I'll see better days on them. But yeah, Our Favourite Shop is a really nice one, of course. It's got, inside it, the picture obviously of Weller himself wearing a Mick inside there, which I'm trying to get on my camera easy. And then obviously on there, and it was all the information and stuff as well and whatnot. Um, check the record inside as well anyway, quick, if I can. Some of them obviously do have quite, yeah, they do have on the sleeves as well, like quite unusual little, lyrics and bits on them, don't it? Stuff and whatnot on them. Oh, that's kind of split, that's a bit. But yeah, it's obviously them side in it and stuff as well and whatnot. So it's quite awesome that that sadly is going to have to be stuck back on because yeah, like I say, it's seen better days unfortunately. But yeah, for this one, I've kind of paid £10. And people are probably thinking, why have you paid £10 if it's like that condition? I mean, yeah, it is probably a bit of a steep price in it. I should have paid probably even more, something like 7 or 8. Yeah, I could have came to a deal, but he did do me a decent deal for all of them at least, because I didn't pay a lot for the whole lot. I literally paid only about £55, and that was it. So that was more a bargain to me than what probably other record places would charge if I spotted somewhere else. So yeah, he done a decent deal on that front, which was awesome. A favourite shop again. I'll go through them tracks more when obviously I do the reissue one. So I'll do that one more on that video when it comes to it. And I can put that back now. Sort that out probably in a minute. The next one, of course, is the one and only. Now, this is quite rare to find nowadays, which is true. I found this last time in Manchester, but I don't know if it was a colour edition or if it was just a normal press one. But he was charging quite a lot of money in there for it, and I never ever went for it and brought it and bothered. But obviously, this one is, of course, the cost of Loving's one. And again, this is obviously one of like more, I'd say, first pressy sort of editions. This one is much better the way it's obviously in condition on it and as well, which is true because it's been more looked after properly. I just realised the record actually into the middle of it, and yeah, the record itself has been kept very good. So this one's more seen, better, much better, circumstances. But yeah, it's a very good album. This one, I mean, it cost loving because it has some very good tracks in it. I'll go through the tracks more in detail and stuff now because I know obviously I don't think this is on somewhere. No, it's not on this, so I can go through these ones more better detail. But yeah, obviously on the Cost of Loving's one was more like, it don't matter, Right to Go, Heavens Above, Fairy Tales, Angel, Walking the Night, Waiting, and Cost of Loving. That picture obviously in the middle is obviously, you can see it's of Weller and Mick again, and DC Lee, I think that was her name, wasn't it? Yeah, I think. But yeah, that's all of them and stuff. This one cost me a bit more cheaper, which was surprising. He's got on there £8 for this one, and then them ones were a bit more, so that was a bit not understanding in my opinion. I thought this one would probably be a bit more, but yeah, them ones were more. Maybe because of the rarity for the other two, I don't know. But this one seems it's much cheaper than that and stuff. This one's more, like I said, this has been kept in much better condition as well. Them two, probably say like I just mentioned, and it's seen better days unfortunately. But yeah, it's quite a good one. Ooh. I think that's the other reason why he's put it in the middle, because it's not seeming to go in there now. It's just literally fusing. Unless I can get it in the front. I don't think there is a thing in the front. No, can't get it out of the front side. Oh well, try another time. But yeah, that's obviously all them ones. So I came across obviously most of my Style Council ones today, which was a really good find. I also in there did see, which I'm going to mention in this video, the Japanese Jams one. I can't remember what song that was that I saw it. He said he was going to do 24, and I said, yeah, that was a reasonable price, because I remember in the past I brought there is Pills, Japanese little one, the Jam, and that cost me the same price from Cambridge. I can't remember, it came with Black something. They had a record store there way back in the past, and I brought one from there, and they cost me, the same, 20 quid. So that was a reasonable price they was going to charge me. I also, there was other ones that I was going to buy, which was, of course, Setting Suns is one. For that one, he was going to charge me £12. Couldn't buy it, sadly, because, like I mentioned, I was concerned of how much everything was going to cost together. From the floorboards up as well, Paul Weller won the single. It obviously had just the one single, and then it had the colour edition inside it, which was a rarity. I was going to get that, and he's going to charge 25 for that. I think he said 25. But again, I had to leave that one out because of the concerns and stuff for how much it was going to cost. I also spotted another one, but it was more like the back of it. Sunflower, I definitely don't have that on single as well, so I spotted that one. He said he was going to charge 10 for that. I did see a load of other Jam ones, which was like the Strange Town, Smithers Jones, all them sort of ones as well. I did see other Style Council ones, the small ones. He showed me obviously the bigger Style Council ones, which was I think the Greatest Hits album, because he said he didn't want that album. I didn't go for it. Kind of obviously I know myself. I definitely ain't even got that one anyway on any format of vinyl, but some of them I'm not too bothered pre-sale because they're just the same song as them albums in it, so I wouldn't really see the point and whatnot. But yeah, the last one is not Style Council related, but is of course you know weather related. But he obviously, yeah, of all ones had this. Now this obviously we know ourselves, and you've already seen it on my videos, but that was my other version, and this one is of course the reissue version. Now obviously I know myself, but I did order it, didn't I, online and stuff because I saw stock come up. How many weeks ago was it now? Probably about 2, 3 weeks ago. So I've been waiting a while, and apparently, it's only came recently. But I paid loads much more. Today he only charged me, I'm not kidding you, for this 20 quid, which is a really good bargain, considering it's also a reissue in it and it's still sealed and everything. Obviously, I know myself. When I brought it from his shop, I had to pop into HMV and go and get a record protector for it because I knew myself, I definitely don't want this to get damaged because it's sealed and it's literally brand new. If it's a reissue, then I'm definitely keeping it in immaculate condition because, I know myself, there's no days or ever chance I'm going to open it. No way. So yeah, because I've already got the Juno Records one edition, and that one's open. So if I ever want to play that album, I can just spin that on my record deck. Wherever that's gone, like I said, I can't play it. Same as all them down there, them Style Council albums, I can play on them on my record deck in it and stuff as well. Because like I mentioned, the colour ones I wouldn't go for and whatnot. But yeah, if you ever are down that way in Stoke-on-Trent, go to the Rubber Soul store. Like I say, it's like a Aladdin's cave in it. It's really cramped and stuff. It is quite tight getting through. Literally, I'm not kidding you. But the amount of records he has is unbelievable. He had like loads of other bands as well, which are more subject to these ones. So like David Bowie, which I know I have got David Bowie albums coming in, which I'll be doing videos on them eventually as well. He had other things like Black Sabbath, all them sort of ones, Rolling Stones, I think, as I saw, The Who, all them. There was tons there, literally, unbelievably, you couldn't count. I did obviously ask him about, CDs wise, because I saw he had CDs there, cassettes. He didn't go through all of them, so in my opinion, I thought, oh, it's not a biggie in it, I'll leave it out and stuff and whatnot as well. But yeah, I knew obviously that was the point, wasn't it? But literally, like I mentioned, yeah, if you ever are in Stoke-on-Trent, go to that store and give him obviously a visit and stuff. I know myself today, I didn't really literally see any other record stores around that way that had anything decent. There was another one called Global, which was quite a sort of a walk to get to, I admit. And yeah, you go in there, and even even the guy from one of the other record stores, Urban's, that was it. It might have been called. Yeah, he more warned me about it. You probably go to that one, but they've all got it literally behind a counter. So it's like going to obviously one of them posty counter sort of places, isn't it? And they could literally see, and they would literally on the computer. The guy obviously searched. If I asked him, have you got this, blah blah. They didn't obviously have any, them Paul Weller Style Council related ones at all whatsoever. So it's a bit of a different sort of shop in it, record sort of shop they do there and stuff. But yeah, if you wanted to give that one a visit, that's up to you. But them two are more recommended because they got much more, choice in them ones. There is also one called Yellow, but it's more like it looks like it's in the shopping centre, I'll give you that. And I think it was on the second or might have been the first floor. It's not that far, I think. I might be wrong. It's not that far from HMV, I think, if I remember. But yeah, I went to that store and I went in there and it literally looks like, obviously you're going to think, oh, this looks like a charity shop or something, can it? But no, they sell like clothes there of like, quite moddy stuff, Fred Perry sort of things I saw all of, and Soul and, Lambretta and all them sort of things. And there's a guy obviously that tucked at the back and stuff, he sells records there as well, funny enough. And he also has CDs and bits because I saw David Bowie's, Black Star CD on the front there. Of course, I wasn't buying it because, I don't bother with much of CDs of David Bowie's and that, sadly. But yeah, also he sells records and things there as well. So if you're in that place and stuff, give him a visit, and there might be something there you might see and might like. I looked through. Sadly, he didn't obviously have much of what I'd probably buy, in my opinion, stuff because there wasn't a lot of choice. Probably for rarities that I'm looking for and things like that. But yeah, if you ever stay on Stoke-on-Trent, because like I mentioned, today was the first time I went there, give them to a visit. And Yellows is quite a good one. Global, you can go there, but like I say, it's all behind the counter and everything. and stuff, so you can't look for anything. And yeah, you have more have to ask them and stuff. So that's up to you. But there's no other record stores I didn't sadly see. Tried to look out for around, couldn't see any other ones and stuff because yeah, it's quite surprising. Of course, HMV was there, went in there, like I mentioned, had a little solo, records and CDs and stuff, but there wasn't something decent compared to where I'm up here in Derby sort of way. So yeah. But anyway, thank you for watching, and like I mentioned, there definitely will be all the other Style Council ones coming up in a video because they'll obviously all the reissues. I'll go, like I say, in much better detail of all the tracks as well on them ones, so it might even be a longer video than this one. And then also I know myself one, which I mentioned, I've got the David Bowie's ones which are coming at the moment. I've also got my 3 coloured reissues of the Style Council ones, the singles, which is going to be a surprising thing to have a look at and stuff. And also I believe, yeah, I've pre-ordered obviously the 2 other, David Bowie ones, but they won't be till July, so I might do more David Bowie then, like I say, leave it until July or something, and I'll do the Style Council ones more all together in it or something like that. So yeah, that'll probably most likely going to be my next video. It's more Style Council based again. But yeah, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe to Wastelands Man always. And yep, just follow always for updates and stuff. Anything you want to, think of seeing and stuff again, because, I know myself there is other music I like as well and stuff, but I've not really brought any of this bits yet, I'd probably say, or there's other ones I probably have bought, but they've probably gone somewhere. But yeah, thanks for watching again, and cheers.